Hello, Master Numerologist, and this is part two of the reading of Paul Leonard Newman. So the name Paul contains four letters. This surrounds him a need for structure and discipline. And there's four letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, the need for structure and discipline. The first earth tone, number 7, is a spiritual inclination derived from the letter P. The 16th letter is reduced to the number 7, offering us our first vital information about the personality and character. So the first earth tone is number 7. The second vital piece of information is the first vowel. The letter A carries the number 1 vibration, a desire for leadership. There's the 1 energy there. Now we're going to combine the first earth tone with the first vowel and give us another piece of information, which is the number 8. 7 plus 1 equals 8. So these two pieces of information grant us an open window into Paul's direction, but with a new vibration, number 8, which is a combination of the 7 and the 1. Number 8, like number 1, lends itself to the outer world of fame and independence. So he wants to become successful, and he's going to be able to have the willpower to do so because the 1 energy is a very focused type of vibrational energy, okay? The number pattern for Paul is 7133. Now, these double threes right here gonna pull him in the direction of self-expression, but because there's 2 of them, it's gonna break down to the number 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6, which is going to also lend himself to a level of social consciousness. Okay. Now, his self-expression, when you add all the letters together, the self-expression is going to be a 14-5. Why is that important? Because this 5 energy right here is going to need the discipline of the 1 and the 4. Without the discipline of the 1 and the 4, the 5 energy just may become scattered. And you see how important the 4 energy is becoming, because you see it here in the 4 letters that surrounds him. And then you're going to see it again when I talk about his soul urge. But right now you see it here. So his self-expression is that he wants to have a sense of freedom. He don't really want to be confined by the rules and regulations of our society. Okay? His soul urge is derived from adding the vowels, which is the A and the U. The vowels. Okay? The A and the U. 1 plus 3 is going to give us our third number 4. And that's his soul urge. The soul urge is an inner vibration, an inner, like intuitively he knows he needs this 4 energy in his life. Whether or not the 4 energy is going to be activated is just to be seen. But in his inner space, he knows that this 4 energy is going to play a very vital role in his life. But he dreams of power and independence, and that comes from adding his 2 consonants together. The A and the L, which is the 3 energy, which gives him the strong, need for independence. And you can see that his first vowel is a 1 energy, and so is his dream. His dream of being able to be the best at what it is that he wants to be in life. Okay? So, Paul expresses himself as a free individual, which is the number 5. Okay? Now, let me erase this. So, in summation, the important piece of information that's popping out right now, this 4 energy that you're seeing 3 times here, because that's what surrounds him, and you're seeing it again in his soul urge, which is an inner desire, and in his need for self-expression. It goes into making the number 5. So you see it here, here, and here. Okay, but you're also seeing a strong 1 energy coming because it's here in his first vow, and it's also, in his dream. Okay? And then these double threes right here, as I said earlier, is about communication. And they drop down to make the number 6, because 3 plus 3 equals 6, which is going to also lead him in the direction of social consciousness. And like I said in one of my previous videos, that you are the house of numbers. All the numbers are circulating around you. It's just a matter of where they're circulating at and how strong they're circulating or how weak they're circulating. So let me take this off the board right now. Okay, Paul Leonard was born on January the 26th, January hold on. January the 26th, 1925. 1925. So his birth cycles is going to look like this. January the first month, 2 plus 6 brings us down to number 8. And then 1925 brings us to 17, which further brings us down to the number 8. Now, remember, his first earth tone is a number 7. So I'm seeing the 7 pop up here, not in a very strong position, but it's popped up there, and it's popping up right there. Okay? And it's also popping up right here because they're double 8s, which breaks down to give me another 7 vibrational energy. So now the 7 energy is really is an indicator that he really needs to develop a strong spiritual faith in this life, because it's popping up. Not in a very crucial way, but in a very, what's the word I'm looking for? In a very, it's not so much that it's crucial, but it's hidden. Like it's hidden here, and you see it there, but it's just a sub-element. It's not as strong as this 8 energy here, and you see it there. And then to get his destiny, you take a look here, 1, 8, 8, right? Which is going to bring us to 17, right? And bring us back to the number 8. So he has 3 8s. Remember, I said that his first earth tone and his first vowel vibrates on the number 8, which means that he has a very strong inner desire to be successful. And so his destiny is of success. And he also has his birthday is on the 26th, which is an 8 energy, and his birth year 1925 is an 8 energy. That's 3 8s there. Of course, the 3 8 vibrational energy is an indicator that he'll make his money, as an actor, communicator. So those are 3 8s, right? But because it's 3 8s, that's going to create this pattern here of 38. Why is that pattern important? Because he died at age 83. Okay? Y'all see that? All right. So now, let me take this off the board right quick. Let me put his birth cycles and his destiny back up. 1, 8, 8, 8. And he left this earth September 26, 2008. So the departure number is going to look something like this. 981, which is going to be a 9 energy. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. He came in with a very strong will and self-determination to pull himself by his bootstraps all the way up to achieve strong success. But he found out that the true value of wealth is being able to give to others. So he left on a 9 energy. He jumped from a 1 to a 9. He put the 1 energy all the way at the back. It wasn't as important to him anymore. Here, as when he was born, he came in with a very strong desire to be the best. He achieved that, but he understood that now that I have my wealth, now that I have my money, what can I do with it? Let me become more of a stronger humanitarian. So now he left on a 9 energy, which is a big jump. He maintained his wealth because he was born on the 26th, and he left on the 26th. And these sixes are also indicating that he's leaning towards social consciousness and social awareness. And you see that the vibration he left on is a 9 energy, which means that his destiny was an 8. So he moved up. He understood that wealth is not the name of the game. If you achieve wealth, you should be able to give it to society. Not give it to society, but help society. You understand? And I also share with you how he created Newman's own food product line, and he gave over, as of today, over $500 million to different charitable events. But that would be a very strong 9 energy. So you see the contrast, the 1-8-8 versus the 9-8-1. Still powerful. The 8 and the 1 are still powerful, but it blends into the humanitarian softness of the number 9 energy. Okay? Now, like I said, he died at 83. Okay, so the 2 energy that you really didn't see in the reading. Why did he leave on this 2 energy? But you can see he maintained his power, his wealth, and he made his money through his acting. Okay? He made his money through his acting. And he left on a 2 energy. So let's try to figure out why he left on a 2 energy. Once again, the 2 energy sits in opposition to the 1 energy. The 1 is about putting me first. The 2 energy is saying, no, I want to be of assistance to other people. So once again, that's a development, that's a growth, that's an evolution. Okay? So let me flip this around right quick to reveal something else to you. Bring this camera down just a little bit. Okay, y'all can see that. Now, Paul Leonard Newman has 17 letters in his name. There's the 8 energy. But you see, the 7 energy is sitting close. Paul Newman wasn't really a particular religious man, nor was his family. Later on in his life, his mother, I believe, she practiced the doctrine of Christian Science, and eventually he went on to become affiliated with the Unitarian church. Really not your mainstream type of churches, but a Unitarian church, they don't believe in the Trinity. They just only believe in, in the one God. So they don't believe in the Father, the Mother, and the Holy Ghost type of vibrational energy. So he wasn't particularly a religious man, but nevertheless, I'm quite sure he had a lot of intuitive psychic powers that he may not display to the world, because I saw this 7 energy popping up really strong in his life, but he didn't really display it outwardly, because he got 17 letters in his name. The 8, he did display that. He was very successful a man. Now, let me see if I can break this down to you a little bit. Paul is a 14/5 energy. Leonard is a 33/6 energy. And you see the 3s popping up. And Newman is a 25/7 energy. So you see the 7 is repeating once again right there. Okay? Now, and when you add the 14, the 33, and the 25 together, you see the 7 popping up once again there, and the humanitarian popping up right there, and the 2 and the 9s are energies of service and servitude. Now, this is the an intensity chart. An intensity chart is when you analyze, or you want to take a look at what numbers are being represented in the fullness of his name. Okay? So I've done that for you. So in his name, he carries 3 1s. Okay? He carries 3 1s. Point them out to you. It's here, here, and here. The 3 energy is the actor. Okay? The 1 energy with a very strong need and desire to be the best that he can be. Okay? He does not have no tools. Remember, he left on the 2. So that was an area that he struggled with. That was an area that he struggled with. And the reason why he struggled with it, because the 1 energy was so powerful that he might not have been a very cooperative type of individual. It might have been hard for him to it's just the 1 energy can come across as very arrogant. The 1 energy is coming across as very arrogant, can come across as very arrogant. And the number 2 energy is not an arrogant kind of number there. And you can see he don't have no tools represented in his name. So he got to work very hard working with other people. And he was able to work with other people because he was able to, he was a race car driver. And a race car driver, he also had his own team. So that's the 2 energy. And he also worked with a friend to create the Paul Newman's own food line. So that was a 2 energy there. But I would imagine that he might not have been the most easiest person to get along with, because you don't have no tools, and that's what we call a karmic debt. A karmic debt is when a number is missing, and if it's not found in other key elements within the chart, then that means that he's going to struggle on that level. Okay? Then you see he was very strong with his 3s. He had 3 3s. So let me point them out to you. You got 2 here, and you got 1 here, but then this pattern of 3 3 3 makes a 9 energy, and then this makes a 6. 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So you see the 9s and the 6s and the 2s, which is really trying to soften up that 1s and that 8 vibrational energy. Okay? So he had 3 3s, 2 4s, the need for the discipline, the 4 here and the 4 there, but it dropped down where he could make money through his discipline. So with the 2 4s as an 8 energy. Now, the number that got him in trouble, is this 5 energy right here. He has 6 5s. Let me point them out to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 of them coming together. So 5, 10, 15, 6. That's that 6 energy that I'm picking up. But that's called his prime intensifier. A prime intensifier is an energy that's going to weigh you down. It's going to weigh you down. It's going to pull you in that direction. Even though you have a very strong sense of self-identification, which is number 1. Even though you have a very strong 8 vibrational energy, that 5 energy is the energy that I believe that tripped him up because he died of cancer, because he was a heavy cigarette smoker and he enjoyed drinking a lot of alcohol. And those are all contributed to the negative aspect of the number 5. So that was his prime intensifier. You definitely gonna see that in his personality and in his behavior. He was a race car driver. But the number 5 energy likes to, it's an energy of adventure and speed. Okay, but it's also a very dangerous profession as well, because you're driving a car at high speed. But he was very focused. He was very concentrated. That would be that one energy, and he won 4 races, championships himself, and his team won over 107 races. So it's very successful. So let's continue to go down. He had 1-6 energy right there. He had his 1-7 energy. He didn't have no 8. Now that would have been a karmic debt, but because he had it in a core element in his chart, he was born on the 26th was an 8 energy. So it's not going to affect him to the same degree as his number 2. Okay? He don't have no 8s represented, but he had 3 8s on his birthday, his birth year, and his destiny was an 8 there. And then he had 1-9 energy. Now, this is another way of pulling out the energy. I told you that he had 3 1s in his name. Here's the 1. And you see how it's vibrating. Vibrating pretty strong. So very strong will, a very high opinion of who he is as an individual, which is good. Then he had 3 3s. 1, 2, 3. Very creative, very artistic, very successful as an actor. But look here. This 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is a number I think that he struggled with. The discipline. Remember I told you that he needed the 4 energy to discipline himself. And I don't believe that 4 energy. I think the 4 energy helped him in his professional life. But in his personal life, even though he was married for a very long time, his habits of drinking and smoking, which is all attributes of the number 5, you see how strong that 5 energy was pulling on him. And remember, I told you his expression was a 14/5. He really wanted to express himself. He wanted to feel free. So therefore, he picked up racing a car at high speed. It's reckless, but he was very focused. He was very concentrated. But you can see how this 5 energy is just so strong, pulling on him. And his expressions of 5 energy, and I think that's the number that did him in. The lack of the discipline in the personal life of the drinking and the smoking. The 4 energy was there to try to check the 5 energy. But apparently it wasn't strong enough. Like I said, that was the number that surrounded him. That was the soul urge, the number 4. That was the expression was a 1, 4, 5. It helped him in lots of different areas. But the area that he needed help the most was in his personal life. And that's where the 4 energy could not compete with this 5 energy. Take a good look at it. It's overwhelming the 1 and the 3. You understand? So, anyhow, rest in peace, my brother. And I just want to say that we are the house of numbers. We do have all the numbers. But sometimes a number can be so strong, so great, that it can pull you like a ripple in an ocean and pull you under and pull you down. Sometimes it happens like that. It's always best to try to be, balanced in life. But we're not balanced. There are areas that we're strong in, and there's areas that we show weakness at. And we got to work in the areas of our weaknesses. You understand? So anyhow, that's my reading of Leonard Newman. I hope you guys got something out of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment me. And before I go, Israel, I don't want to, okay, Israel and Iran are going at it. Let me get on camera. Okay. Israel and Iran is going at it right now. And that is not a good sign, and I'll tell you why. Because they both have the first earth tone of the letter I. And the I energy is a non-vibrational energy. And the non-vibrational energy, because it's the first earth tone, it carries a significant amount of power. It's dynamite. And they both is threatening each other's countries. Israel don't want Iran to get nuclear, and Iran saying we want nuclear because you got nuclear. But Israel saying that we're responsible with our nuclear weapons, but you're not going to be responsible for your nuclear weapons. And to keep you from developing your nuclear weapons, we're going to destroy or try to destroy your capability of creating a nuclear weapon. Now, how is it? Will America get involved? Well, America carries an 8 earth tone, which is the number 1, right? The number 1, once again, is the need to the big brother to try to protect everybody. You understand? Trump likes to say America first, right? Disregarding everybody else, America comes first. So how is America going to respond to Israel? Because Israel is a good friend of America, and America and Israel don't particularly care for Iran. So those 9 energies is troubling for me, because the 9 energy, once again, is the number of completion and fulfillment. And you're seeing how the 9 energy of 2025 has been manifesting. And we're right in the middle of 2025. We're on the number 6, and it don't start tapering off until around September. But when that 9 energy kicks into play, along with the vibrational energy of 2025, which is the 9 energy, it can be a very, like a time bomb setting off. And so right now we're in a battle. So the sea of humanity that came out over the weekend to protest, that's a strong 9 energy. But the 9 energy in its negative aspect is still insisting on disrupting the harmony of our society. So there's a war going back and forth. And there's not a good sign that Iran and Israel is firing missiles at one another. And America's going to have to decide what she's going to do. So anyhow, let's just pray for Russia and Ukraine and Israel and the Palestinians and the Iranians. Let's try to just pray that we can infuse greater light, greater wisdom, greater love into the social consciousness, because we all are one, even though we don't see the oneness. The truth is that we are one. So, to the next video, peace.